Hi, this is your Tesla friend here. I just want to do a quick installing software video. So I'm going to just hit this button here. It's going to say I'm going to install now, so I'm going to hold the install now button down, and it will start in a moment. It says it takes 50 minutes, but it's always quicker than it says. You can't drive the car. The alarm might shut off momentarily. But I'm waiting. So it should be starting soon. It's not doing it, so let me see what I'm doing wrong. Okay, I gotta let go. So I think maybe if I hold this down for a while, it'll. Okay, well, it doesn't start immediately. You gotta let the countdown go. So you basically press it and you let go. Before, you could hold it down and it would start immediately. Just getting back to the Uber IPOs starting tomorrow. I have a couple ideas on that stuff. I think people, if you use Lyft or Uber and those services, I think you should use Lyft more. They might be a little bit nicer company, possibly, but they're all idiots. They all kind of lie to you and do stuff that I don't agree with. But Lyft, they're the underdog. They're smaller, so that's why I said use Lyft. I think we need to get Lyft to the size of Uber. Competition is good. But as far as Tesla, how they plan on being in 2 years, leasing out the Model 3s, and 2 years taking them back. I don't think it was 3 years, it was 2 years, and then creating a ride service out of it. Well, the autonomous ride service, autonomy is not really going to be here in less than 2 years. Even if Tesla is lucky enough to perfect it, those laws and stuff will not allow it. So that's going to be the big hindrance there. So don't let Tesla think that the car is going to be autonomous. First of all, they say 2 years. I say multiply by 5. Okay, this update is starting, it says. I would recommend multiplying that. It's going to be 10 years. So anywhere from 10, 15 to 20 years is when true autonomy will be here. And second of all, I'm not sure if the technology in the cars, the hardware in the cars, are good enough. So basically, they're not using LiDAR. Maybe they can make that work. Maybe it might not work. But they definitely have only one radar, which is in the front of the car. Now, I'm thinking they definitely need a radar, preferably in the back of the car, pointing towards the corners when they're changing lanes. Because cameras and vision is not enough, and the sonar doesn't go far out enough, especially if you're pulling out into the lane of traffic. Yeah, especially if you're not moving. That's even making it worse. Car in the highway, let's say you're on the shoulder of the highway and cars are going by 60 to 80 miles per hour. When you're trying to pull out, those cars are going to come up on you fast. So they really need to give you some radar back in those corners. I think I heard of a car like a year ago that had radar in all 4 corners of the cars or something. So that's something. But anyways, just say by the time autonomy really comes, the Model 3 hardware technology is going to be obsolete, basically. I think there's a chance it may still work, but it's not going to work as well as the new technology that's going to be out by then. So that's how Tesla gets you. A lot of times when the new technology comes out, they don't have a plan on protecting the previous owners of the older cars. what they need to do is they need to discount when the new hardware comes out. They need to discount the older cars when they're selling them, and that makes it fair. And then they don't have to keep the new update, the new version of the car with the new hardware. They don't have to hide that. Like when Autopilot 1 came out, they sold both cars, the old car with no autopilot and the new car with autopilot, for 3 weeks without telling anybody, because they had to sell off all the old cars with no autopilot first. And that was a shame because a lot of people got screwed. And then, they didn't compensate anybody, but then they choose who they want to compensate and who they don't want to compensate. But the update's still in progress. It's just sitting there, working. Yeah, it's just a shame the way they decide to like choose and pick who gets compensated. If you're one of the famous YouTubers, you get better treatment. I've seen that. And they get a lot of freebies. Yeah, and Tesla claims everybody pays the same price, but that's not true. So you can search the internet and you'll find out more about that. So you don't need to believe me. This update's still going. Again, the technology of the Model S and X has not kept up with the Model 3. Tesla has always said that the Model S and X will always be better, but all the new technology is going to the Model 3 and very little in the S and X. Even the new facelift, I guess you want to call it. I don't know if that's what Tesla calls it, but it might not even be called a facelift, because on the outside you're not going to notice much of a change. And it's just internally maybe some things change. I think they're going to a permanent magnet motor in the front, so that's going to increase the range by 10% with the same battery. And yes, Tesla is not changing the Model S and X batteries, so they're not going to take advantage of some of the faster charging. So that's unfortunate. So they're not keeping their word that they're going to upgrade the cars, and the Model S and X are going to be always better than the Model 3. So, it's just a fact. Now, yeah, so unfortunately, that's what's going on. If you want to use my referral code, it's JOE480, JOE 480. Up until May the 28th, you will get 5,000 free supercharging miles, and I'll get the same too. And I will get a chance to enter a raffle to win a Model 3 or a Roadster. I'm not sure of the buyer. I don't think the buyer gets that. Tesla keeps on changing stuff, so that's one of the bad things about Tesla, is so many things are constantly changing that you just can't. It's just hard to keep up with it, and they don't let you know. You have to watch social media to find out what things are changing and what's different, which is very unfortunate. But the update's still in progress. My data looks all right. Oh yeah, here's another thing. To get the most recent updates and stuff, and to get it first, or one of the newer people to get it, you have to be connected to Wi-Fi. Now, again, Tesla doesn't tell you that. You have to go to social media and get all that stuff to understand it. And also, these updates, Tesla doesn't really tell you what the new update is, and they'll tell you afterwards, but I don't think they give you enough details to explain it. And of course, I think they want you to do the updates, so they're not going to tell you what they are, so people can't be choosy about which updates to take and not take. But I have camper mode, but I don't have pet mode. Now, if I have pet mode, they don't explain how to get into it, but I don't think I have pet mode. pet mode should be just like camper mode, other than displaying something on the screen so people who are outside the car are wondering if your pet's okay to read the screen and see that they're okay, the temperature's okay. And I hope they put a phone number in there on the screen also, so that if people are even more concerned, they can just call you on your cell phone just to, and also an emergency, call you. Yeah, please forgive the vertical screenshot here. The screen is vertical, so I'm using a vertical screenshot. Nothing really is happening here. It says update in progress. If you can't see it, update in progress. Screen flashes a little bit. Normally the screen flashes a lot more. Now, talking about a vertical screen, Tesla was talking about going to a horizontal screen like a Model 3, but that's not good. So, with Tesla not upgrading the Model S and X's very much, I think the screens are going to stay the same. Hopefully they don't change it. I mean, they're going to probably say like, oh yeah, we can change it. In the background, they're just trying to save money. But what that's going to do is they're going to make the programmers work harder, because now the S and the X's will have two different screens to program for. They should have never done that with the Model 3. With the horizontal screen, they should have kept the two screen layout the same as the S and X. The programming would have been so much easier, and they're saying all their money is going towards autonomous and all that stuff. So part of that is working with the different screens and the different version of screen sizes, and then they need to whatchamacallit, okay, so basically they're trying to what was I saying? Yeah, so programmers have to work extra to just program the different screen sizes and horizontal versus vertical screens, how to lay things out. So yes, it's not a good idea, not a good idea. But it's too late because the Model 3 is already out and it's got a horizontal screen. And they're saying 2 years. They're planning on no steering wheel and accelerator and brake pedals, but that's not going to happen. Maybe in 10 years is the earliest that'll happen. And then autonomous driving, it takes a little work to do that. And Tesla, they're bragging about how their car drove from somebody's home, I guess, to their headquarters at Tesla to go to work or something. Autonomously, and it was a Model X, I think, and the driver didn't touch the steering wheel, just sat in there just for safety. Well, that was 2 or 3 years ago, and as far as I'm concerned, that technology doesn't work. They're getting closer. They're claiming they'll be out soon, but it's the Tesla still cannot recognize red lights and stop signs, which is totally ridiculous. They claim that's going to be soon to be a fix, and here's another problem. They've made autopilot very what do you call it, simple as like lane assist and speed control. They're making it full self-driving, gets all the other features. So now the problem is people that have autopilot, you don't know if that means you have more features or less features. And also they made autopilot with the very basic features standard on all the cars. Well, that's a good thing, but I think full self-driving is just like 6,000. It's a little expensive. I'm not sure they should still split that up. But I really agree that safety features like that, like basic autopilot, should be standard equipment. At this point, the adaptive cruise control, a lot of the older cars a few months ago and older, do not have adaptive cruise control. And I think that should be added to the cars, or that don't have it. That should be on every car. Now the question is, should Tesla offer that free, or should they charge maybe like $100 for it? Now, I think what they should do is, calculate a certain profit that they should want to do. Like, if their profit is like $50 per car that they want to make, charge everybody $100 for adaptive cruise control to add it to their car. It's just a software update, but their goal is to achieve $50 per car. Now, the only reason I say to charge $100 is because not everybody will pay for it. So some cars will still not have it. Now, so in essence, the extra money that they're paying, the $100, will make it and possibly an equivalent of $50 per car if you count every single new car. Then if they make more than $50 per car, then they should refund some of the money to the people. They should do that. The update here is still in progress, but what another thing they should do is, I forgot. Yes, certain things in the car should be standard equipment. So autopilot should be standard. Like blind spots sensors should have been standard, but when they first came out, there was no blind spot on the cars. They can use the rear camera to create a blind spot sensing thing that they should do for the older cars that don't have the blind spot sensors that they never put on there, which was ridiculous because they knew they were going to do it for eventually for the autopilot. So why didn't you do it when you sold parking sensors by itself separate? So there's just so many things that Tesla, I think, does that's just not good. It's I don't know what their problem is. I think most of you can agree. But anyways, use my referral code Joe480. You can get 5 times more charging at 5,000 miles of free charging. I'm not sure why Tesla's offering that right now before May the 28th of 2019. Not really sure why, but they're offering for some reason. Usually their sales are slow, probably, that Tesla offers discounts. Not everybody pays the same prices. They give away free large battery upgrades, so you get the larger battery for the price of a smaller battery. They do that when they need to boost sales at the end of the quarter and stuff like that. Okay, at this point you can see both of my screens, the dashboard screen and the big screen in the middle, are both out right now. It's been out for a little, 15 seconds or so. Not sure. I've never seen it do this before, being off so much, but I've only sat in the car once while I've done an update. So let's hope it turns on. Sometimes if your screens go off, especially while you're driving or using the car, it happened to me a couple of days ago. I had to actually, the center big screen went off and the dash screen stayed on. I had to actually open the car door before the center screen came on. Okay, the car is starting to make some clicks. so you know something's going on. So I think the screen will come back soon. Um, okay, there she goes. Now, okay, now the dash came on also, and I'm not exactly timing this. Um, oh yeah, you see this unlock button? Here's a trick. Um, since you have to peck at the screen, which is dangerous, especially while you're driving, since it's you have to pay attention and look stare at buttons and stuff. Tesla needs to make their buttons bigger, make them clearly marked so you know if it's on or off. Um, but anyways, going back to the unlock button. If you're driving and you hit the unlock button, the doors will unlock and the dome lights will come on. All the lights will come on. So that's a trick on how to get the lights to go on. But I don't think that trick works on Model 3. It doesn't work on Model 3. Okay, all the screens just went off. Tesla, the dash is rebooting. So that's a little trick there. And if you're moving, nobody's going to be able to open your doors even though they're unlocked from the outside to like carjack you or whatever. But that's another issue I have about security, like especially when you're supercharging. The superchargers are usually put in like out of the way places in the back, on the side. They're hidden in the rear of the garage. Um, it's very dangerous, especially at night, because if somebody wants to come and carjack you, they know where the superchargers are. They come at night, and usually nobody's around. And also at night, there's no bathrooms or food at a lot of superchargers. They need to put them at like Wawa's. That's the best place to do it, like 24-hour convenience stores with food and bathrooms. In my opinion, those are the best places to do it. And then, of course, they usually have gas stations, so they're usually located where, you know, you're off highways or whatever, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so my dash screen is on. My center screen is still off, so I'm still waiting. Usually I don't notice it taking this long, but we'll see. Okay, everybody, we're still waiting. But like I said, okay, you're seeing the screen reboot right now. So let me know what you think about autonomy, but Tesla is always optimistic, so you multiply by 5 years or so, or add 5 years. Um, it's so just don't believe what they're saying, and by the time the Model 3 or the Teslas are autonomous, the current hardware which they're claiming is autonomous capable should be obsolete by then. Okay, so it says the update is completed, checking status, and then we'll be able to look at, let me lock the doors here. That's the trick. Whenever you get in your car, make sure you lock your doors. I wish Tesla would allow you to step on the brakes and lock your doors. Again, another idea is to use the rear view camera as a blind spot sensor. You can use vision to see cars, and this AI can determine if your blind spot has a car in it. This is for cars with no autopilot. There's plenty of those cars out there, but Tesla doesn't really help the cars with no autopilot. You can use GPS location to determine the speed limit, to give us a speed limit warning, over speed limit warning. Okay, so checking status. So I'm still waiting for it to check status. Now let's see what happens. So, is it doing anything? So we're still waiting, everybody. Tesla friends, sorry about this video being so long. you can use my referral code JOE480, JOE480, to get credit for a car. Okay, so we got Atari stuff. We got en route Barry warm up, which should have gotten a long time ago. Okay, here's dog mode. That's what I've been. Touchscreen will display the temperature. Okay, so we got dog mode, which took forever. So this update really just gave me dog mode. So, okay, so we hit this. I don't see dog mode. Oh, there's the dog mode's right there. So off, on for keep climbing on. So the dog mode is working. My friend was asking about that, but my video is too long, so I'm going to end it here. Again, use my referral code JOE480, JOE480, get 5,000 miles free supercharging.